friends, I'm Andy Irvine, and you're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.
Hi everyone, John Liebman here. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com. Coming to you today from the 2017 Winter NAMM Show, Anaheim, California, in the Black Diamond Strings booth with our old friend Andy Irvine. What's happening, Andy?
Hey, good to see you, John. Always a pleasure to see you and talk with you. And hey, everybody.
Always a pleasure to see you too. This is actually the third interview we've done together for BassPlayersOnly.com. Tradition. It's a good tradition. So we got all the info about your upbringing and you from New York and how you migrated to Colorado and all the cool things that you've done, the records that you've put on, the people that you've played with. But I wanted to talk to you because I heard you were going to be here, and it's always an opportunity because the last interview was a while ago. And tell us what you've been up to and what's going on, Andy.
Okay. Well, last time we talked, it was at Warwick, when I was working with Warwick. And a period came along where I decided it was time for me to leave the nest. I had some ideas of some things that I wanted to do. And me and Hans-Peter decided that we would go our separate ways, for now. We're still friends, of course, and everything like that. But I had some ideas of expanding my educational reach and doing more of an independent kind of website, learning, informational, educational kind of thing. I'm always kind of dreaming and scheming fun ideas of things to do. And I can't sit around and do nothing that drives me bananas. So I'm kind of a workaholic. Anyways, I started this thing called the Daily Funk Club this year. I started it back in March 2016. And it's a interactive website community. And it has interviews with well-known bass players, builders, and industry moguls that I conduct the interview with them. These are written interviews. And several different lesson videos and things that I put up. And then I have many different sponsoring brands of basses, amplifiers, and accessories. And they sponsor the website, and then I feature all kinds of gear on there. And then there's also a community bulletin board section where all the members of the community can post their own videos and then discuss, and it's like a supportive community there. And it's completely free. It's sponsor driven and donation driven, so it doesn't cost anything to be a part of it. And it's been going great. I mean, it's been growing by leaps and bounds over the last 7 or 8 months.
That's great, especially for such a short time. And the word "the" is in the URL, The Daily Funk Club, right?
That's right. Yeah, www.thedailyfunkclub.com.
Okay. You also mentioned, I think, you're working on a new record?
I am, and it's almost done. And it's just by far my most ambitious work that I've ever done in terms of putting out recorded material, because it's a full band album, and it has about 11 musicians on it, and horns and keys and guitars. I did most of the guitars myself, all the bass, synth bass, original songs, 12 songs. The name of the album is Ghost in the Grain. And
Ghost in the Grain.
Yeah, Ghost in the Grain.
And target release date?
April 2017.
You do things quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Well, actually, this album I've been tinkering away at for quite some time. I started it. I put out 2 albums since I started work on this album. I put out the Way I Like It album and my Digging That Funky Blues album. They were more like Wham Bam, Thank You Ma'am put together albums, where this is much more produced. And I really, really handpicked the musicians. I have PJ Olson, who's the lead vocalist for many, many years with the Alan Parsons Project, singing on it, and Gumbi Ortiz playing
percussionist.
Yeah,
I've met him when he was with Al Di Meola.
He's still with Al. He's been with Al Di Meola for 27 years or something.
Wow.
And John Staten from Carl Denson's Tiny Universe and Dumpster Funk and Pimps of Joy Time, a great San Diego gospel drummer. So I've got a bunch of really great heavyweight, hard-hitting players on there.
What you got in your lap there, Andy? What are you holding there?
This is my new bass. I'm really excited about this instrument. Kerry Nordstrand built it for me. And Kerry and I are really good friends, and he's one of the sponsors of the Daily Funk Club. And I use his pickups in a lot of my instruments and feature them in my videos and things like that. So Kerry's a well-known builder.
Sure.
He's built many basses, but in the current frame of what he's got going on, his pickup brand has really, really exploded and expanded. So he decided to stop his instrument production, and this is the last instrument that he made in his official production.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, please do. So it's really sparkly and awesome and
Yes.
fantastic, and he put a lot of love and care into making it by hand for me. So I really love it, and I'm really kind of proud to show it off here at the NAMM show.
I think when I was about 10, I had a bike that was similar to that color.
Well, I'll just tell you the origin of this paint job. I sent him a picture of a 1970s HydroStream boat that had this sparkly orange tangerine finish, and I said, "Can you make me a bass that looks like this boat?" So that's what it's the color is modeled after a 1970s HydroStream speedboat.
Wouldn't have guessed. I did mention we're in the Black Diamond Strings booth.
Yes.
And I know you're a big fan of Black Diamond Strings. Tell me what you like about that brand.
Okay, Jim Kavanaugh, Black Diamond Strings. I've been with Black Diamond Strings for about 9 years now. And when I first started, everything that I've kind of been doing in terms of educational work and doing clinics and all this kind of stuff, Black Diamond was the first brand to support me. They were the first brand, the first endorsement I ever got. And they've stayed, and we've stayed together the whole entire time. I absolutely love them. And strings are one of the most important things for any musician in terms of, because it's what you can play any instrument, but your strings are what really makes the big difference, at least for me. Because when I play other instruments when I play other strings, it just simply doesn't feel the way that it needs to feel for me, but I feel completely at home. So that's why, I have confidence and I feel comfortable when I use my Black Diamond Strings. The thing that's really cool about Black Diamond Strings, besides the quality and the fact that they work for me, is the legacy of the brand, because it's the oldest American string company. I think it's 1890 it was started. And I'm a big blues lover fan.
I know you are.
And there's several songs by the old Delta blues guys and even B.B. King where they recorded records in the 50s and in the 40s where they're talking about, I'm going to go down and get my Black Diamond Strings on Friday for $1 and everything like this. So there's a really cool story. It goes
for
way,
$1,
way
huh?
back. Yeah, or whatever, a quarter, a nickel, whatever it was, I don't know. But yeah, and if you think about it, American music has been, rock and roll was invented on Black Diamond Strings. The blues, all this music music as we know it now was invented by the musicians during that time period, and most of them were playing Black Diamond Strings. So I just feel I love that history. I love being part of it.
I didn't know all that, and it's a great family legacy. And I've been to the factory and the offices in, was it Sarasota, Florida?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how
Jim gave me the tour, and great family, great place, great people.
Yeah, wonderful people.
So once you get this new record done, since you're finishing it up right now, what happens afterwards? What are your plans for beyond that? What else can we look forward to?
Oh, I've got all kinds of stuff going on. I kind of took a year off from the hard touring. For 5 or 6 years, I was on the road 200 days a year. Toured around to 26 countries around the world and did a lot of clinics, 350 or so. But I took a year off to start my own business, the Daily Funk Club. And during that time frame, I joined a few bands in the Colorado area, which I love. My friends, for long time friends, the Johnny O Band, the Lee Rogers Band, and with a guy named Matt Holliday, and also another guy named Andy Strauss. These are great Colorado musicians that have their own bands. And so I bounce around between those bands and play around Colorado and regionally. And when the new album comes out, I think that I'll probably start doing some performances of my own music, put together a smaller combo that's affordable to do a few showcases here and there. And I know that for sure I'll start doing more of the educational lecturing. I'm going to do something a little bit different than I've done in the past, where it's not so much going to be a bass clinic. I'm going to present more of a modern entrepreneurial musicianship lecture series, where I'm going to go to universities and I'm going to speak to art students, music students, anybody in the creative realm about creating multiple revenue streams using modern technology within their craft. So if it's a musician, I'm going to teach them about the possibility of getting endorsements and working with brands and doing mail-in session work and being involved in collaborations across the whole world, via recording.
Taking advantage of the technology and social media and all those kinds of things
and
too.
Self-promotion and self-confidence and kind of being your own manager and just creating I have this really firm idea that if you write it down, it becomes real. We're in this technological world where, you know, everything is done with computers and everything, but I'm a hard believer that you write it down on a piece of paper and you create a career strategy and a business plan, and you write it down by hand, and when you write it down by hand, it becomes real and it becomes tangible. So I talk about that in my lecture, and I empower people. I try to empower them to just kind of take a look at their long-term goals, where they want to end up, and kind of create a strategy to get there step by step, and to commit it all to paper, and then to just go for it.
Well, when you have a schedule, let us know, and we will publish it. We'll let all these folks know.
All right.
If you haven't seen Andy, check him out. And if you haven't heard him play, if you don't find yourself shaking your head and snapping your fingers and tapping your foot, you ain't got it. There's something wrong with you, because this is the man.
Right on. Thank you, John.
The album again is called
Ghost in the Grain.
Ghost in the Grain. Look for it in early 2017. Also be sure to check out thedailyfunkclub.com, and you can check out all that great stuff with Andy. Great catching up with you again. Congratulations, and keep that energy. I wish I could take some of that energy, because we could all use it, so spread that around.
Self-preservation has helped, you know what I mean? If the older we get, we have to preserve a little bit, do those kind of things. But I'm still pushing hard, man, and I think I'm going to keep it going for a while.
Well, I hope you do. Obviously, it's working, and
Right
I'm
on.
glad to see that you're sharing your knowledge and wisdom with others too. So
Right on.
keep it up. Check him out from the 2017 Winter NAMM show at the Black Diamond Strings booth with our good friend, the ever energetic Andy Irvine. I'm John Liebman. You're watching for BassPlayersOnly.com.